I want to start off with a creative warming up. The creative warming up, I think it's very important. I not always start off with a warming up. I need to be honest with you. But actually, it's better to start with a sketching warming up. The reason is you are getting into the flow of creating. Like I mentioned, I'm not always doing it. I skip it a lot. But when I skip it, I notice that I actually do my sketching warming up in my drawing, in my creative process. So it might took me longer to get the oval done or just to get my lines flowing. And when I just did my creative warming up, I actually are more productive during my creation moment. So in that case, I really think a creative warming up is important. It also allows you to maybe find some different ways of suddenly creating lines, or you just notice that you really get handy in some kind of shapes. I also think it's very like it's meditative. It's kind of empty your head and bring you into the it's like you press on a button and you tell your body, hey, we are going to create now, we are going to draw now, and you just let go in that moment. And therefore the creating process is much more pleasant and very much more relaxing than when you just skip it. So I just take you into how I do my drawing, creative warming up, and I'll just start. So the warming up creative process is actually I always start with creating lines, and I do them every angle. I just come into the flow of getting myself prepared to get draw. I also will do more like these shapes, just to play with lines. And just think about how to add in lines to get yourself prepared. The next thing I always do is drawing circles, because circles are a shape which we use a lot in drawing characters. So I always add these two, and I just change from how big or small they are. And I use a lot of ovals in my drawings, so I add these two. And when you are drawing circles, what you also can do is give them the dimensions, and you just pretend like this is your form, and we do another one and we just place in, this is the upper part, and you actually repeat this with different upper parts. For example, you see like this, and maybe it's more like the side part. And when you have done this, you can create the back of the ball too, like they are transparent, so you see how it behaves on the back of the ball, more like this. And I think these shapes are really important because it's actually the beginning of an eye, an eyeball, but we are going in further. But you already can practice to add in like some kind of iris form. What you also can do is bring in perspective in more shapes. For example, we can do the oval, and of course the oval has the same flow as the circle, so more like this. And then you can practice with a cube. And now we are looking into the cube. Or, this is funny because you also can look onto, but then it's not a cube. For example, when we have this form and we are looking into, then this is on the front, closest to your face. And when you do the opposite and you are looking onto this shape, then actually you don't have a cube anymore, because when you are looking on top of this one, it's more this form. So to showcase what is on top, you can add actually thick lines on the part that's more towards you. Like in this case, you can actually add in these lines thick and do these a little bit thinner, like this. Another form which I think is really important in drawing is the cylinder. And the cylinder actually has the same as the cube. Let me just copy this one and I'll show you. We have our cylinder, and I just created these two to show you. Without extra lines, you just assume I just add in this line too, because then you really have to see how the things behave. When you see this and every line would be even thick, then you actually don't know how to look at a cylinder, but you can add in extra lines too. So in the first case, let me just add in these lines. And then suddenly you noticed you are looking to a glass, for example, this way. So you are looking into the glass. When we do our lines opposite, it's the same cylinder, only we change the lines we are building on top. And then suddenly you notice that you are looking onto the bottom of the same glass. So because of the lines you add, it gives you another way to look at your form. For example, the cone, it of course creates the same. We have this cone and we will draw in these lines. Then we are looking different to this cone as when we are draw in the lines opposite. In this one you look at the bottom, in this one you look into the cone. And I use these forms especially with drawing a leg. I just remove this and I just draw in my leg. For a leg I use this form like this, and this is the calf, and I just copy this and I add in another. Now when I don't have my lines, you are looking at a standing leg, but when I do add in the lines, then you actually can see that it behaves different. So this one, you actually are looking onto the knee, like the knee of the leg is bent towards you. And this one is actually, you expect that the leg would be a little bit horizontal, because you are looking more at or the back of the leg, which is bending apart from you, or a leg which is standing to the back. So of course the perspective isn't right, because when you are creating this kind of lines, you have to deal with foreshortening. We just do that later, but I just want to show you already that adding lines, it actually gives you more in your sketch. While when you are sketching a character and you add in these lines just for yourself, then maybe you it's easier to see how the leg behaves because of the bending of a knee. But also that later, I just want to show you to play with lines and to see what happens when you add them. Then suddenly the whole part you are looking at is changing. Let me just remove the legs. To do the perspective, you also can force yourself to draw a form. For example, I have my markers in here, so I just lay down my marker and I just give it that I just can look at the top and just draw this, not precisely, but to get into the flow of drawing. So you just draw what you see and look especially what which direction the lines go when you do this. And I just see a little bit on top of the marker, so I draw that too. So this, for example, take in your sketch just easy shapes. I have this one too, so I draw in my oval because I look in a certain angle and it's an oval. It's actually like this because there is tape on, and the tape, it goes further. Maybe you just can't see the same angle because the filming, but it's a little bit more like this, and we see this one, and actually I see a little bit into this one too. So just practice with forms you have in your surrounding, and it isn't about drawing it well, it is about getting into the flow of lines. Another thing I want to share with you, and that's because my characters are born when I was doodling, because I just doodled like this. This was the way I doodled, and I added in a nose and a mouth, and I just went over them, and I add my ear and the back of the head. And this is actually how my characters were created. So and I think this is your base. This what you already doodle easily is what you actually I think that's the base of your beginner style. So when you want to know how to start your drawings, then doodle a character, because in my case I started off with this one, and the next step I took was I added in the eyes, and I just show you because I think this one, when we are talking about the uniqueness of a style, I think it can start in your doodle process, as it did with me. You see, this was the second character I drew, and from here I just went to do her a little bit more realistic. I think I just already changed the cheeks, and from there I just built, I went a little bit like this, and I added in a heart shape. I will explain it in the next step. I do it very fast because it's not about my drawing at this moment. It's just that I want to show you how, you see, my lines actually didn't change a lot. It's more about the eyes changed, the proportions of the face changed, and I create a mouth these days. So it went from here to here, and you can see in the first step only the eyes changed and the eyebrows and the cheek form. And from here to here I bring it a little bit more human by not stretching the head a lot, and to give her a mouth, and actually my nose are like this. So I think the creative warming up is important, and just take as long as you need. Maybe play already with some kind of shapes, because you also, of course, when you are starting off like this, and this is your base, then maybe this is the base of your line. So maybe it's telling you already something about how you create faces when you just have nothing, when you just don't have a goal to do. That was the creative warming up. I really advise you to try to do this as a ritual for yourself, to start off with this warming up. Also, when you go further with the next lesson, now you can just start. But if you decide to leave it with this and just start over in a couple of days, then I advise you to do the warming up sketch again. And it doesn't have to be very long. It just, sometimes you feel when you are ready to draw. I have moments that I do a warming up sketch of 5 minutes and I'm already relaxed and easy going. Then I create. Sometimes it might take me about 30 minutes to get my head in a relaxing state and just ready to go create. And it even might happen that I stick in the creative moment and that nothing works. Then I just leave the drawing process that day for what it is. Then I'm just not relaxed enough, or I just have a lot of my mind, and it really can have influence on my drawing process. So just feel for yourself what is needed for you.